And today I have decided to bring transparency to what I would refer as to a shadow government that I've been very familiar with for the past 15 years. And if you want, I can explain to you what is a shadow government and what it has anything to do or everything to do with the official government that you elect every 4 years in your country.
Prior to you coming on, we spoke with Maria Zack, and I said to her, this sounds like a movie. This sounds fictional when we start throwing around words like shadow government. So yes, what is the shadow government and who's a part of it?
Well, first, it does sound, and I absolutely relate to the people thinking that this could be basically a bad B movie. But the truth is that this is real. This is real. The shadow government has been conducting your daily lives, and not only you, for close to 8 billion people on Earth. Shadow government is simply a group of some people behind the scene that have worked very closely with official government to put geopolitical agreements directly affiliated to military interventions in the world, only focus for a platform they only relate to. We have to understand, and for the people to understand on your show, a shadow government is extremely powerful, much more powerful than any elected government. The shadow government is actually the one who put together the agenda of each new government. And you do have very powerful billionaires behind it. Some of them are American, very well known to all of the American people and known all over the world. And they are being part of an agenda that is directly put together with them, for them, and not directly for the people of the world. And that's why I'm here for. You're asking me, why am I here for? This is very personal. This is something that I do for myself, for my family, and it's the work of God. I really honestly, Stu, if after our interview people say this is a bunch of whatever and we're not going to believe Philippe Archillier, it's fine. I don't really care. I know what I had to do, and my work is to give full transparency of what happens behind the scene.
So in a nutshell, what is the shadow government? The shadow government is a group of very rich, influential people around the world, some of which that are here in the United States, who control and manipulate the policies of world governments. That is what the shadow government is in a nutshell.
Yeah, I confirm this. 100%. I do confirm this.
And so does the shadow government control the government of the United States, the executive branch, Congress, the Senate, the Supreme Court?
Yes, it does. 100%. I do confirm this.
And do the people in our government here in the United States know the shadow government to exist? All of them?
Some of them do, some of them don't.
The president? Is the president aware of the shadow government?
Well, I believe the President Biden has been a politician for the past 50 years. I'm sure that he must be quite familiar with the shadow government. On the other hand, President Trump was not. And I'm taking a lot of risk doing this. But it is my mission. It is a moral obligation. So, yes, few people on earth have set themselves in a location where they actually purchased the country. And from that perspective, they were able and they are able to conduct the activities of the daily life of the world, and particularly directly linked to extremely powerful governments, including the US. And I can tell you today that the Biden's administration is under the control of the shadow government. I can confirm this without any hesitation based upon the information that I have. I can tell you for a fact one thing, and I'm giving you the exact date. On December 18, 2018, Donald Trump from the White House announced the withdrawing of the US troops from Syria. That was in his presidency. The very next day, we were informed of this. On December 19, 2018, I was the first one to be informed that Donald Trump will no longer be president of the United States of America, starting with 2020. We knew that very, very well. Why? Because by doing it so, he was touching the core, the essence of the funding of the shadow government, which is military intervention. And by withdrawing the troops, that would go against, obviously, those fundings.
So military interventions fund the shadow government.
I couldn't hear that, Stu. I'm sorry.
Military interventions fund the the shadow government.
Indirectly, yes. Yes. 20 years in Afghanistan, one country, 1.7 trillion American dollars. You know what you can do with this money in your country? And times, so, and also, what are we doing? And it's the same thing with my country, France. What are we doing always sending troops to some countries that never declared any war in return? Is it not interesting that each of all military intervention are always held in countries in the midst of big, major economical interest? This has to be disclosed too. This has to be disclosed because we can no longer send our troops to literally kill other people on behalf of the very few to keep up their own interest.
And do you believe that in a very timely fashion, these people will start to react to this interview? Will we see a significant slowdown in things that people can use as a marker or a gauge to help verify the validity of your message?
I believe so, and they're waiting for, and I can, since, you asked me the question, and since I have nothing to hide, they are waiting to see, and myself, to see if President Trump will answer the call. He knows where to reach me through Maria, Zach, and we can talk. And yes, that will also be a big part of joining force with RDH in France. So you see, I'm being very transparent. I'm not asking Donald Trump to call me behind the scene. If he hears this, my best advice I could give him is to move forward with this, because the information I have is that the shadow government have all intention for him not to be back in 2024, and I can confirm that.
So what you're saying is that the decision has already been made by the shadow government.
Yes.
And there's nothing that Donald Trump or fundraising or anything can do about it.
Nothing.
But that Donald Trump will never be president again.
Donald Trump will never be president of the United States of America if he's not moving forward with the parallel government. Shadow government will take him down the same way they did in 2020. I can confirm that.
Who made the decision to steal the election? Was this a global conspiracy?
Well, I think Maria Zach is the one who gave you as much as information on this, and that I'm not going to step on her ground.
Okay.
COVID-19, I want to make this very clear. In 2014, few months prior to the ending of all of my governmental contracts, I was asked by a president of a country if I wanted to be part of a strategy directly related to the work of the Gates Foundation in Africa. And I at the time, I immediately replied by saying, you know very well that a few months from now, I will no longer be part of any contracts with you. So no, I don't want to be part of any agenda past the 31st of December 2014.
Okay, just to be clear here, I want everybody to understand what you just said.
Yeah.
The sitting president of a country asked you if you wanted to be involved with the works of the Gates Foundation in Africa.
Yeah.
And
well,
is that
not with the work of the Gates Foundation, with an event that will take place in 2020 related to the work of the Gates Foundation. It's a big difference. I would not be part of any work with the Gates Foundation.
Is that 2020 event that you're referring to what we now know as COVID-19?
Well, apparently in 2020 you have an agenda called COVID-19. So I think you can link the two, but I'm saying that this what happened and what I was asked at the time. So I'm very careful with the words that I'm using.
So the shadow government, Bill Gates being one of these people that you have now named, are they aware of the information that you allege to be in possession of on these databanks, or do they know what's on them?
Obviously not. That's the power of our intelligence. What you have to keep in mind, what makes the difference of databanks from the parallel government versus databanks intelligence from the official government? FBI, CIA, Homeland Securities, they do have their own databanks on you and on all the people of the world, except they keep this information for themselves. Our databank, our intelligence, is here to provide the information. We do not divulge the information. We make the information available. Then comes whistleblowers. But again, we're not whistleblowers. We own databanks, except that we feel responsible because we have a moral consciousness, a moral obligation to state the truth and to give transparency to all of the people of the world. So what we do is like you have something great.
Wait a minute. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't own Facebook?
Obviously not. Please, too. This is a grotesque thing to say. The government owns Facebook. When you become that powerful, it's a big masquerade.
What government owns Facebook?
On papers, he owns it. He has nothing to say about it. And that's the reason he's still going around. We know that very well. Government work differently.
Which government? What government owns Facebook?
Well, the US. It's clear, but we all know this. This is not just anything. This doesn't need to come from a data bank. It's clear. Stu, do you think that they will let one individual, Mark Zuckerberg, own an entity? They own all the information from most of the people of the world? At one point, it's like myself as a consultant. We get together in a room. We say, well, we have something to tell you, to ask you. And I'm sure this must have taken place. Okay, now you're the front man of Facebook, but we'll be running this. Otherwise, it would be too lethal. It's clear. I want to address this message to the millions of people who are going to be listening to me. I'm going to ask you to call upon your consciousness. If you do not believe everything I said, it is your right. On the other hand, it would be the greatest mistake because you do not lie on love, on peace and justice. And to begin with, when you have someone like me that is willing to move forward, take many, many risks on behalf of the well-being of humanity. So again, it would be up to you. But if you decide not to believe me, I'm fine, because I know that I did what I had to do in order to save you and to save your children and generations to come. That's all I have to say, Stu.
Against the machine. If you vote for Kamala Harris, you're not voting for her to run the country. You're voting for the powerful machine that already runs the country. The machine of political persecution, media lies, censorship, election interference, and open borders. Instead, if you vote for Donald Trump, you're voting for the power of a real president to represent the people.
Our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom.
To make their voices heard.
They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you.
To make America great again.
Powerful again, wealthy again, healthy again, strong again, proud again, safe again. And we will make America great again.
Vote against the machine. Vote for Donald Trump.